Here's everything I made to take to my koumera's house for Pasxa. I started making my pastourma the day before. Kalo Pasxa is a hearty, heavily spiced and the most aromatic Cypriot sausage, typically air-dried but not in my home kitchen. I hack it. I mixed 8 different spices and seasonings with some red wine into really good quality beef mince. Kneading the mixture like it's bread dough helps everything combine too. Then I weighed about 100-gram balls and shaped into sausages, then tightly wrapped into cling film. This is how my local Cypriot butcher told me to do this a few years ago. 1, because I don't have a sausage maker, nor do I have the time to fiddle around with sausage casing, and this technique works really well for it. I left those in the fridge so all those spices could really come together, and before I went to bed, I popped them into the freezer. This firms them up and helps hold its shape when cooking so it doesn't fall apart. I then got started with my charlotta, a really typical retro Cypriot trifle. I defrosted some sponge I had left over and used that as my base. Drenched it in Cypriot brandy, scattered some nuts and ligotukutalio, which are Cypriot spoon sweets. They're basically fruits and even nuts that are cooked and preserved in syrup. I have a shelf full of all sorts in my second fridge. Some I've made, but mostly jars that were given to me from Thea's. I made my custard and added aromatics like lemon zest, cinnamon and cloves. Always use Ceylon cinnamon, by the way. When you buy whole cinnamon, look out for the flaky, multi-layered bark as opposed to the thick, hard bark. Ceylon is sweeter and more delicate, as opposed to cassia, which is slightly bitter and woody. At this point, I was rushing to get my custard done because the little one was yelling for me. If you make this, don't rush. Let it thicken over a medium heat and stir continuously. I quickly poured over the sponge and covered with cling film, then fed and played with my baby. Once she was done and was playing by herself, I made the talatouri, also known as tzatziki. My shortcut here has always been to use labneh, which is already nice and thick and tangy. Traditionally, we'd strain Greek yogurt. I've just skipped that step and it loosens up to the perfect consistency once I mix in the grated cucumber, olive oil, garlic and dried mint. On the Sunday, I finished off my charlotta and whipped fresh cream with a splash of orange blossom water. Spread that on top of my custard and decorated with mogliga and crushed nuts. I got the little one to help me roast some almonds for my rainbow salad. I grated red cabbage on my mandolin. I don't use it as much anymore as it's tucked away from little hands, but I brought it out this time. I diced red and yellow peppers, cucumbers, fresh coriander, fresh mint, spring onions and pomegranate. For the dressing, I added extra virgin olive oil, a splash of red wine vinegar, pomegranate molasses, some runny honey, fresh lemon juice and sea salt flakes, all in a jar and gave it a good shake. This salad is so beautiful and colourful and is one of those ones that looks so impressive. I served her up and saved some for us for Monday and finished with a sprinkle of more pomegranate and roasted almonds. Hope everyone had a lovely day. Kalo Pasxa everyone, xristos anesti. I just got in the car and realised I forgot the pastourma in the freezer.